Welcome to my Facebook Live for today. It's great to have you here. I'm Angela Palmer from Stamp with Angela, and thank you for joining me. Whether you're joining me live or watching the Facebook recording later or watching it on YouTube, thank you. So today I'm going to be creating a card with you using a sketch. So sometimes we need to make a card and we don't quite know where to start. So sketches are a great starting point to give us some ideas of what to use. And you can use all sorts of different products and things, but I'm going to focus on one of the lovely, beautiful flowery papers that's available through Sale-A-Bration, but you could also use, other papers or things that you've got as well. So thank you for being with me today. So now we will get started and I'll show you the sketch we're going to use, the papers we're going to use, and I'm actually going to make 3 cards today. So the first one is very simple, basically taking the sketch literally and just doing it as is. And then the other 2 cards are kind of adding a little bit more, stepping up, just showing you how you can adapt it. And then the last card uses a few more embellishments and things like that. So hopefully it gives you some inspiration and you like, the idea of a sketch and things. And if you find the idea of a sketch appeals to you, I actually have a card sketches program where I send a sketch to you in samples, so it gives you some ideas from some ideas for your card making, and I'll share a little bit more about that at the end. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around and we will get started. So let's get started. So Sale-A-Bration, we're now into February, so this is the final month of Sale-A-Bration. And the papers that I'm going to use today are these ones here, the Favoured Flowers, very pretty, very flowery on one side, and then some patterns and things on the other. I'll show you those papers and then I'll show you the sketch. So here you can see, this is what I meant by very flowery. So kind of the blacks in the background, the other colours that are used, so basic black, Blackberry Bliss, the Calypso Coral, that sort of orangey colour. We've got Evening Evergreen coming through with the leaves here. Fresh Freesia with the purple. I love the purple, very beautiful. And then some Petal Pink with the lighter flowers as well. So you can see all these very flowery designs. And then if we turn over, quite a contrast. It's more just, one coloured and a pattern design. So I'm actually utilising both sides. And the 3 papers I'm using today are these 3 here. Should have used the Fresh Freesia one, the purple one, because I do like that. But anyway, so this is what it looks like on the other side. So they're quite a, a very full-on kind of page, and may look a bit too busy, but we don't have to use the whole, part of it. We can add other things to it as well. All right, let me show you the sketch. So this is the sketch that I have created. And for this today, I've just kept it quite simple. And I'll try and share an image of it in the comments later so you can refer to it as well. So it's in metric. So a standard card base is just half of an A4. So 14.9, or if you want to be really precise, 14.85. This way, and then 21 across, and then I've scored it at 10.5. So that detail is there at the bottom. And then for your layers and things, we've got one that is 10 by 14.3. So this is kind of a layer on the top. And then we've got one that's 5 centimeters by 12. So that's what I've got here. And then just a small piece for your sentiment, 2.5 by 7. And that's all I've used to make this card. So I'll show you my first card. Very, very simple, letting the paper do the work, but then I'll step it up. So that's all I've done. And then obviously you can put whatever you like on the inside. So I will quickly show you how I made that, but very, very simple. And even if you use that simple design, you can kind of add to this one a bit more, and I'll show you some variations on it too. So I didn't want too much pattern on the front, so that's why I've got the pink in the background. So just put that on. Then I've got this flower design. I need to work out, I think it goes that way. I've just glued it on. You could dimensionalize, but it is paper, so it's not as thick as card stock. And then I've stuck that on. Use the patterns to get it nicely lined up. And then stamp my sentiment. So the 2 sentiments I've used on today's cards I like to make lots of thank you cards for my customers and things. So the thank you from the Peaceful Moments, because there's lots of good sentiments in that. And then if I need a smaller thank you, or there's happy birthday and things, the shaded Summer. So I'm going to use the bigger one and just stamp it in Memento ink. Whoops, other embellishments and things come in too. And all I did was, just to make it a little bit interesting, was snip it at an angle. Just to change it up slightly. And put it on with some dimensionals. And that was it. Very, very simple. And my dimensionals have gone. I probably put the paper on top of them. Here they are. I've only got little ones, but that's okay. We'll just put 4 or 5 on because they're little. Because we have dimensionals in mini and big. Usually I'd use the standard, well, not big, but standard. Usually I'd use the standard size, but we'll just go with this. All right, so there we go. So that is just literally the sketch, and I've just angled that off. So very simple. For the inside, I have just used, that's a 10 by 14.3, and then a strip of the Designer Series paper in the middle, which I had, and now it's disappeared, but I'll show you on the other cards. So just adhere that as well. So you could leave that as is. You could add a little bit more embellishment too, but that's kind of using it as a sketch. All right, so let's step it up a little bit. So this is card number 2, and I've added a few more layers. So my card base is the same. I'll move this one out the way now. And then my 10.3, sorry, it's 10 centimeter by 14.3 is my next layer. And that just frames it. And then I have gone and got another piece and just made it a step smaller. So it's not on the sketch, I've just done this myself. So this is 9.5 by 13.8 or 13.9. All right. Then for this piece, I've got 2 layers again. So I've got my one piece, which is 5 by 12. And then my DSP is 0.5 centimeter smaller. So 4.5 by 11.5. Now this one was a bit bigger than that. So I have gone to my 2.5 by, this is 2.5 by 7, but I didn't want to make, actually I think I made it a bit shorter. And of course you don't have to use it exactly. So I think I made this 2.5 by 6, and then this was 3 by 6.5, just because I didn't want it too long. It kind of worked on the other card because of the angle and things, but I didn't want this one to be too short. Now we can leave it white, or I've actually sponged that a little bit. So let's put this together and then we'll do our sentiment. So with this one, it's again the same sketch, but just some extra layers. And sometimes you want a very fine layer and you just make it by a couple of millimeters. Often, just for ease of cutting and measuring and things, I make it 0.5 centimeter smaller, and that gives you this kind of size, or the gap kind of thing. All right. So with this paper, I'm using both sides, the flower and then the kind of monochromatic of the other side. Now, that way I think I have just glued it down. You could dimensionalize it if you want to. But again, fairly simple. All right, so for this sentiment, let's just have a quick look at that, and I'll show you what I did. So I stamped it and sponged it. So I'll get my thank you again. And stamp my thank you. Cool. And just get a scrap piece of paper, some Calypso Coral ink, and a blending brush. Start off the paper, and then, so I should show you both ways. You could leave it white, like that, okay? But if you want to tone it down a little bit, which is what I did, then we're going to just sponge it a little bit with the Calypso Coral. So up to you what you want to do. Sorry, I don't know if you can quite see, I'm near the bottom. I should move up a bit, shouldn't I, so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So as much or as little as you like. Then we will adhere that to here. Now that's actually two-toned because the blending brush did actually have another colour on it, and I thought I'd washed it all off, but it's still there, but that's okay, it looks quite effective actually. So there we go. I will put that on with dimensionals. I do have my big ones now, so let's do that. Just makes it a bit quicker and easier. 1, 2. And again, you can leave it as is or add some sparkle or ribbon or something if you want to. But that's kind of using the sketch, but just stepping it up a little bit. So you can see that one I made a bit wider, this one I made more to those dimensions. And then on the inside, like I've done here, just like to stamp something, but since there's not too much stamping, I'm just using scraps of paper, and then it all kind of ties it together. So just glue that in. And so do you use sketches? Have you used them much before? Do you find them useful? Is the question. All right. There we go. So card number 2, stepped up a little bit, some layers. The third one is probably my favourite. Uses some embellishments, a punch. This is it here, and I love the colours. So the same papers, you know, from the same set. This is the Blackberry Bliss, which is quite a stunning colouring and things. So I've only got one layer at the back, but I have layered up this one in the middle to make it stand out a bit. So my card base, again, is the 14.9 or 14.85 by 21 scored in half. And I'm just using the 10 by 14.3 to go on the front. But I've got 2 layers for this. So this is 5 by 12, and then this is 4.5 by 11.5, so it's a little bit smaller. And then I've added the punch and that. So let's put this together, then I'll show you what I've done there. All right. I don't like to cover the flowers up in some ways, but at least we can see the design up here. I just didn't want too much of the flowers. And this way you get to see both sides. Right, so this paper I'm using is available for free during Sale-A-Bration. So that means if you place an order of $110 or more, you can choose a level 1 Sale-A-Bration item. And this is one of those Sale-A-Bration items. I think that way is right. So let's use the lines here to get it nice and straight. Okay, so that's that. So I have ignored those dimensions and just gone with an oval and used the double oval punch to cut it out. So, do I have a slightly wider piece to hold and punch? Because it's going to be a bit small to hold. Let's grab this bit here. So I've got this scrappy piece here, and I'm just going to check that my punch, yeah, will only just fit, so I'm going to have to put it nicely in the middle. So I'm using the other sentiment this time because it wouldn't fit in the punch otherwise. So let's try on here, and if it doesn't work, then we'll slightly angled, but hopefully that's all right. So I love the double oval punch because you can instantly frame it, as it were. So now I need some black to do the outline bit. There we go. And we will put those together. So what colours do you like? Do you like this Blackberry Bliss? Do you like the Calypso Coral, or the first card that had the petal pink background? Okay, there we go. I'll just let that dry for a minute. Now, I'll show you how I did this bow. So what I did was I got some ribbon and gold. So the ribbon is the crinkled white ribbon, and this is the gold. So I actually held them together and tied a bow at the same time. So this part's easy, it's just keeping them together when you pull it through. Oh, I did it. Okay, did you see that? And that way you've got some white ends, and you can just adjust them before you trim it and things. When I find my scissors, I keep putting things on top of things. They're right in front of me and I still can't see them. Nothing was on top of it, it was just right there. Okay, let's cut those off. Excellent. So there you go, that just adds to it rather than just being a white bow. So I've put that up here. So I used a glue dot. So let's move my ink out the way and glue dot. So there's one right on the end that I missed. So let's pick that up and put that on. There we go. And you know, you can adjust the tails, make them a bit shorter if you wish. And this one I have put on with dimensionals. It's, yeah, let's just put it on both sides, I think. Although the one side is slightly raised, we'll just raise both of them. There we go. Isn't that elegant? And actually not too much stamping. We're letting the designer series paper do all the work. Okay, let's do the inside and then we'll add our embellishments. So is that cut to size? Yes. That one, and our strip of that needs to be slightly shortened to make it the same width as the other. So quickly do that. All right, and then we're going to put that on like so and glue it in. Now I've noticed that is slightly damaged there. I don't know if you can see. So I'm going to use that as a scrap and I'll cut another one later and put it in. But you get the idea. And then to finish it off, can you see the sparkle I've used? So I like the way these kind of iridescent rhinestones pick up the colorings that are around. So that makes it quite cool. So we are going to use the rhinestones and put those on. Okay, so I just need to grab something to put them on with because I don't like to use my fingers so much. And here we go. So usually I use my take your pick, but that's not close by. There we go. That one, oh, these are all big. Oh, here we go. Here's some little ones. We'll use some little ones too, just to vary the size. This one here. And I did have one there. It gets a little bit lost in the design. Maybe we'll put it down there. All right. So here you are, 3 cards based on a sketch. So let me show you the 3 cards again. So the first one was very simple. This one here. Whoops, we'll take the inside back out. The second one, we added a couple more layers, which was good. And then this, so basically these are just what I call SIP cards, S-I-P, stamp, ink and paper. Now it is designer series paper as opposed to just cardstock, but it's no punches or dies or any kind of fancy equipment. It's nice and simple. Often SIP means stamp, so I'm stamping more and then using cardstock, but it's still using more basic supplies, which is great. And in my newsletter, which I sent out this week, I shared an example of more stamping, but a simple card involving the SIP techniques, stamps, ink and paper. So if you're not on my mailing list, you may like to subscribe because I send out information about promotions and free tutorials that are exclusive to that. So those 2 are more basic because it's stamp, ink and paper, even if it's pattern paper, designer series paper. And this is the step up. So I've used a punch, I've used some ribbon, I've used some embellishments, and they all are based from this sketch. So you can see how a sketch gives you some ideas. and helps you, start creating and things. So I hope you found that useful. It is very pretty paper. So if you like this particular paper, you can get it through Sale-A-Bration. I'm also going to show you my sketch program. So I've had some people do that and send me photos of the cards they've made too, which is wonderful to see. So this sketch program is based on, for 6 months, each month you get a sketch. Now this sample here doesn't have measurements. It'll be like this with measurements on it. And then I've made up card samples using it. So you get to see some ideas. So you can copy, like it is using what you've got, or just use that as a stepping stone and think, oh, I don't have a dragonfly, but I've got a butterfly, and I'll use something different in the background, or, use different paper and a different embellishment. But it's just to give you ideas. So each week you get, so the same sketch for the month, and then each week you get a different sample emailed to you with all the supplies that I've used, so you know how to make it, kind of thing. So if you're interested in this, please message me, or I'll put some details in the in the comments. And the measurements come in both metric and imperial. So no matter where you are in the world, this is all emailed to you. It's not product sent to you, so anyone can purchase it. And I cannot remember how much it is off the top of my head. But there's a certain amount per month. I think it's like $17 New Zealand per month or something like that, but I will need to double check. All right, so the other thing to mention before I go is Sale-A-Bration. I've mentioned it before. So with Sale-A-Bration, if you spend $110 here in New Zealand, then you get to choose one of the level 1 products for free. And you can look on the website for this. And there are some products which you need to spend $220 because they're like, more fuller stamp sets or a bigger pack of paper. And then from today, there are some new items added. Now, these are not exclusive to Sale-A-Bration. These are products that you can already get either in the annual catalogue or the mini catalogue, but you can get them for free with Sale-A-Bration. So we've got kits, we've got ribbon, we've got punches, embossing folders, masks, and designer series paper. So if none of the things in Sale-A-Bration brochure appeal to you before, or you've already got some of those things and you want something different, and there's a stamp set and die set as well. This is spend $220 for this, but that's still amazing deal. So be on the lookout for that as well. So thank you for your time today. Zana, thank you for joining us from England. Lovely to have you here today too. So just one last thing before we go, just in the back of the Sale-A-Bration brochure is the join offer. So if you're here in New Zealand and you'd love to join my team, or we'd love to become a demonstrator, I'd love you to join my team. And you can make it work for you. I obviously make this as a business, and I do classes and things, which I really enjoy. I just started off as a hobby, doing a class once a month to help pay for my supplies, because I thought I got a few orders, that would be great. And then over time, I've done a lot more and made it my part-time business. But you can do how it suits you. You can, if you want to do a class, great. If you want to get together with friends, great. If you just want to order yourself, you can too. So there's 3 options. The standard option of joining for $189, and you get, during Sale-A-Bration, $375 worth of product, which is amazing. Or during Sale-A-Bration, pay $240, and you get the embossing mini machine either in white or boho blue for free, or as part of that package for $240, and you still get $375 worth of product. So I've got people all over New Zealand that are part of my team, and we connect through Zoom and Facebook and phone calls, and I'm there to help you and support you and make it work for you. All right, so thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoyed these 3 cards. I hope it gives you some inspiration for your card making. If you make something similar to this, why not give this particular sketch a go? Use some, cards, colours and paper you've got, and see what you come up with. You don't have to put DSP on both. You could have an embossed background for your 10 centimetre by 14.3 piece. There's all sorts of possibilities with this, but I hope it inspires you. I appreciate your time today. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like it if you enjoy it, and subscribe to me and check out other videos. So if you've got any questions, please get in touch with me. Thanks again for being here. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know. All right, thanks so much. Enjoy your day. Bye.